So hi everyone, my name is Junlin. If you are active in the Superset repo, you probably have bumped into me already. If not, I'm one of the product managers at Preset, also a humble product servant to Superset community. I specialize in data visualization, which means I oversee the product development in charts, Explorer, dashboard, homepage, and some other core functionalities like component migration that are driven by Preset. So if you ever have any question in those area, please feel free to reach out to me in the repo or on the Slack. So we had a couple of meetup already after launching Superset 1.0. So today I probably would not talk about what has already covered, but more like walking you through all the new features that are fully or mostly available in Superset at a more detailed level. So before diving into the features, I want to emphasize some of the motivations behind all the changes made into 1.0 for developers, because Superset is an open source project by nature, is engineering driven and focused. And as we try to make Superset a more modern, user-friendly BI tool for our end users, we also want to make sure, oh my God, sorry, I just have to.
You can do not disturb if you want, the top right corner.
Okay. Um, yeah. Yeah. So we want to make Superset better BI tool, more user friendly, better user experience. But we also want to make sure Superset is a better developer tool that's modular, extendable, and integratable for our developers. So in 1.0, we introduced dynamic vis plugin. Right now, it's very easy for anyone in the community to create new visualization plugin and share it back to the community. So we have also formalized a public REST API that enables engineers to essentially do everything that users can do in Superset programmatically. From the end user standpoint, we streamline some core major flows in Superset. Still a lot of room to grow. We refresh the entire user interface and introduce many new features in Explore and Dashboard that provides much better user experience. So new features. One of the biggest changes in Superset is probably the new card layout and the crop view. So Superset 1.0 looks much more stunning, and we introduced card layout with thumbnails throughout the whole application, and then we streamlined the navigation and content discoverability with our new homepage. So this is our new homepage. You guys probably already seen it. We have different tabs. So we have different sections: recents, dashboard, save queries, and charts. We have thumbnails and snippet for these sections. And you can also view like the last added, last created, or my favorite dashboard and dashboard that I created in those different sections. Um, so um, see, so the performance is still not yet optimized in the thumbnails in the homepage and all the card layout, along with some other security concerns. So pretty soon we're gonna roll out a simplified version of homepage with some simple cards without thumbnails in the next probably a couple of quarters. And so in terms of UI UX, another biggest change in Superset probably is the Explore view. I don't know what version you guys were on prior to 1.0, but Explore page looks completely different now. And if you have been following Superset's improvement proposal SIPs, you probably are aware of there was a SIP that passed over a year ago, which is proposing the new design of Superset, and we call it the North Star. We can see the comparison of these two screenshots here. On the right one is the final design, the final North Star design, and the left one is what we have right now. So from UI standpoint, it's getting really close to the North Star, and we have a plan for the to implement the rest of functionality like drag and drop query control and the in-place editing data sets in 2021.
Hey, Julian, sorry, if you could zoom into some of these screenshots, that would be also helpful so people can see on the
Yeah.
when you present.
How do I zoom in?
Just click on present mode on the top and that'll help. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, if you can compare side by side, we are really close to our North Star. What we are lacking nowadays is the motions between these two panels. But in the very near future, I would say less than 2 quarters, user will be able to drag all the metrics and columns into the control panel to make the queries. So next one. So in Explore 1.0, we emphasize these 4 themes: data visibility, discoverability, visual consistency, flexibility, and transformation. So I'm going to quickly go through what's new in Explore. So the first one is data table. We look at 3 different aspects when we redesign Explore. One is functionality, second is user experience, the third is the performance. So so what you're seeing in the new data table here, those information were available to the user prior to 1.0, but they were hidden they were very hidden. So user have to search for a long time or click through multiple times before getting to those information. So we want to increase the confidence level of users when they run a query or create a chart. So ideally, users should be able to look at both charts and the results data or the underlying data of the data of the chart side by side. So we want to roll out. And then in terms of performance, we want to roll out cool new features without compromising the performance. So all the data in those 2 tables will not be fetched unnecessarily. Oops. Data panel. Another things we introduced in the Explore view is the new data panel. So from the US standpoint, we set the left panel open by default, add a collapsible and resizable with max width 1/3 of the screen to show super long metric names and column names. These are probably not common in the individual user use case, but they're very common in the large enterprise. So we took that into consideration. We make everything flexible and resizable. So the information is display only for 1.0. But in the near future, user will be able to drag and drop the metrics and column into the control panel, as I mentioned before. And then the search bar here is also optimized. So it allows user to search not only the metric and the columns label, but also their properties like the SQL expression, description, information, and certified by. Next, query control. So we also redesigned the query panel layout. This is just the intermediate stage. We don't have an end state design yet, but we are trying to get step closer to our North Star. So we replaced some of the major components like the metrics and ad hoc filters with ND. In the metric over, we separated save metric from columns. It used to be a long list that covers everything: save metrics, aggregated columns, and column. And then but unfortunately, the code of this entire control panel is a mess right now. So before anything cool happen, a major control refactoring needs to happen. So I need to warn you guys that we may start building stuff and breaking stuff on master. So be mentally prepared. We'll see a lot of some regressions when we develop. So next one, customize control. So for this tab, we add improvement like a scrollable legend bar, time formatter in tooltips, rich tooltips switch, white bound controls, in ECharts only, because we are slowly deprecating some of the MVD3 charts in the near future, and we would like to put out most of our investment into improving and integrating ECharts. I want to show, so yeah, just to give you some live demo what I talked earlier. So we have all these major components, chart area, data table, data panel, control panel. They're all resizable, collapsible, and if you put in keyword search here, you will see metrics and column. We're only showing 50 out of the top 50 of the total numbers of the columns and metrics. And if you can see here, we also included all the properties of those metrics and columns into the search. For the custom, so if you're already have been using ECharts, you probably noticed that within EChart time series, you can easily switch to different chart type without going out of the view or going to the chart gallery to select a different chart type. So this is the direction we want to go for all the remaining EChart migration. And then we included data zoom. This is available in MVD3 line charts. And with the legend, so we have different position. We can put it in the bottom, on the left, on the right. So with all the improvement that went into ECharts, we can confidently say that we reached full feature parity of MVD3, and that will allow us start getting rid of some old legacy charts that are not being as robust. So let's keep going. Time picker. So Time Picker is a complete rebuild in Explore 1.0. We added 2 Python libraries as a support, and we have multiple time range select modes, including predefined range and custom range. So user can even anchor, so with this new Time Picker, user can even anchor time to now or today's midnight. So whatever you select, the actual time range will populate below the here in as the actual time range, so as a validation of the input. So in the advanced mode, user can type free text like 3 years and 2 months ago, 7,000 years later, etc. And we also introduced a custom syntax based on the 2 Python libraries. This feature gives much bigger flexibility to user to input complex time range. So I'm not gonna go through all the syntax examples today. You can easily find them in the tooltips inside the model. So it's default at to last week as before. And then if you can see, we can easily switch to from last week, last month, last day to previous calendar week, calendar month, calendar year, and you can see the actual time range populated instantly when you select. We have specific time, start time, relative start time, specific start end, and specific end. You can choose days before, weeks before, months before, 7,000 years before. Oh, that doesn't take, sorry. For the advanced, yeah, you can click the tooltip here. It gives you all the information you need to play with this new feature. And one other things I want to mention is, so the tooltips now is translate if the actual time range populated on the peel, it will show you the input on the tooltip. On the other hand, if we wait, sorry, if we have select previous calendar week, and then in the tooltip will show you the actual time range. So it's really a step forward in terms of user experience. All right. I think, yeah, I cover most of this in this slide. And all the arrow state, we also thought about all the arrow state, added human readable arrow message in this popover. Charting. By far, we have three ECharts integrated: time series, pie charts, and box plot. A few more is on its way. One is force directed graph, and then the other was tree graph. So later on, I want to share, like, we have a contribution or contributor program. We're basically asking for help from the community. Anyone that's interested in contributing EChart integration, our visualization team will provide all the support needed to you guys, to the community. And just for the sake of showing, this is the ECharts plus profits. We added a predictive model on top of ECharts, but you guys probably have seen it a lot of times. I'm not gonna go into details again. The next one is alert. So reporting alert has always been highly requested in the community, and 1.0 packs a solid implementation that can support most use cases. Again, it's still a long way to go. Right now, it's not fully available. I believe users have to turn the feature flag on, and there's a lot of config setting to enable that feature. So, but this feature enables periodic email delivery of reports, as well as an alert system that can monitor your metrics attributary strict and alert you as specified. So we build an extensive system that we can expand to more delivery mechanism and forecast alert logic. So this is the view. You can get to it from settings. You can add alert, input the alert name, specify the owner, add the description, select the data source, data set, and then just put a random, query here, just an example. Add the trigger alert condition, and then the value, and you can simply input your email address here, and then within minutes and hours you will get an email notification if things do go wrong or reach the target. Couple more things behind the feature flag. One is the dashboard native filter. I don't have, I actually have it enabled in my environment, but this feature took about 7 months to develop. We are very close to finishing. The last step will be integrating the new time picker that I just showed you guys into the dashboard native filter, and then also many cool features like cross filtering and share and set filter sets is also under development, and these are the contribution from a company called Nielsen. If you guys are here, thank you so much for contributing those. Yeah, and we also added, so besides the time range, I think we are almost reaching feature parity with filter box. So the biggest enhancement, definitely UI UX right now. With this enable, user will no longer need to go into the data viz to select a filter box and then configure in the Explorer and then add the filter box to the dashboard to trigger all the filter events. So with this feature, user would just have to do everything, all the filter events on the dashboard without even going into the edit mode. And then we also added cascading filter. And I would love to show you on the user interface. So this is a set of cascade filter, and we have we have gender as the parent. So without any select, we can see that there are about 250, I believe. Sorry, it takes a while to render the chart. Oh, I love live tap. Okay, so without the setting in the parent filter, you can see 250 option here. And after you narrow it down to girl, and it only show 157 options here. So this has been a highly requested feature. There was a workaround to achieve that with filter box, but in the native dashboard native filter is much better user experience. Okay, that's pretty much what went in Superset 1.0 and what's available after you enable those feature flag. I would love to talk about some future plans that's after 1.0. I probably would not read through the slides here. So we're working on home screen 2.0, as I mentioned. We want to implement simplified cards that doesn't show thumbnail for various reasons. And we are also working on improving Superset theme. So Superset can be easily embedded to your companies as part of either user interface tool or data analytic tools with your own colors and logos, etc. We're also working on making Superset a single page application. The other major projects that is undergoing is Superset mono repo. So as many of you may aware that Superset code base is living separately into like multiple repo. That gives us a lot of difficulties, not just from the developer standpoint, but also from QA. Yeah, so that's one of the major effort we want to make in the Q1. And after that, it will be much easier for you guys to chime in to contribute on the DataVis plugin and ECharts. So for Explore, I also mentioned earlier, our focus will be implementing drag and drop query builder and in place dataset edit. So right now, user have to click at least 5-6 times to edit the properties of a matrix of a label. We want to make it much easier for the user. So in place editing will be one of the options, and we're also exploring different solutions to achieve that goal. Component refactor, yeah, that's something have to happen before all these cool features. Just because because Superset has been an open source project, we have lots of technical dev. In order for it to be sustainable and sustainable and extendable, we have to clear those technical debt. And then this plugin, yeah, we're gonna focus on integrating some new relational and flow charts. We're gonna replace some MVD3 chart with ECharts, and also continue to enhance on the what we have with EChart right now. And also, another one, annotation. So annotation is like pretty much like editing data sets. right now, user have to create a new set of annotation outside the Explore page. We want to bring that action back into Explore and have more like inline editing and in-place editing experience. Dashboard. Our main focus on dashboard for the next couple quarters will be US and UI's improvement. We want to have more color consistency through dashboard explore flow. We want to allow user to clone the charts on the dashboard, and we also want to allow user to add the same chart to multiple tabs. All these are not currently available, and we're looking at a different markdown components that allow more editing or more content, like embedded videos, stuff like that. Dashboard filter. Yes, so we are very close to feature complete after the integrating time range filter, and then cross filtering and filter sets are on their way. SQL Lab. So yeah, import and export is one of the major feature. I'm not sure it's fully ready yet. Went into 1.0, but one of the focus after 1.0 will be hardening this ability. So lastly, community projects. If you guys are monitoring the Superset roadmap repo, I recently posted a feature request, which is a giant project that basically allow you. Basically asking for help from the community to contribute on the flow charts and the relational charts integration. So we are laying some groundwork to enable you guys. If you are interested, please reach out to me. We will love your contribution. We will love to work with you guys. We provide all the support you needed to make this process successful. So I think that's all.
Awesome. Let's do some Q&A. So Anastasia asks, do alerts include the screenshot of the chart?
I think so. I'm not the PM of this project, so if anyone else from our team can chime in and talk about alert, that would be great. But I believe so.
Yeah, I think, it looks like Eugenio is typing a response. Saul asks, any plans to support nested data like JSON struct fields from Hive Parquet tables without having to flatten the fields first?
That is a very technical question, but so is that specific for table charts?
I'm pretty sure it's so like BigQuery and some databases, right? They support nested fields, and so I think it's probably both. It's probably in SQL Lab, but also in Explore itself. Yeah, maybe it's something we could start a discussion around on GitHub. Euclides asks, what is the process of creating or modifying visualization plugins simplified?
We will have to get the engineer on this question to answer.
Awesome. Yep. Feel free to also ask on GitHub. Rohan asks, I know Junlin mentioned there's a bit of a bit as a part of future roadmap, but with 1.0, does Superset have the capability to embed, for example, the Explorer into our own applications?
I think that's something that we want to work at as one of the big bets. Slowly turn. I don't know if I can share that much, Srini, because
yeah. So embedded is a really highly talked about use case. It's one of the most requested features. Like today, you can embed charts via iframe, but like there's a lot of different dependencies on using components of Superset into your own application, right? So it becomes very, very complex, but that is something that I know the community is really you've been asking for, right? Because I think as more and more people look to build analytics layer into their own product and service, they see Superset as a natural kind of fit for their use case there. And so that's something I think from a community level, like there's going to be a wider discussion, and that's something that, especially here at Preset, we're definitely looking into them. I would love to kind of open that discussion up wider to the wider community, understand people's requirements and use cases, and we can start kind of collaborating together to build towards that. So maybe we can start. I think that's something that's worth even starting a channel on Slack, and Slack have discussions about on the embedded side.
Yeah, so that's on our radar for sure. But in terms of whether provided through the community or through preset, that would be a discussion.
Awesome. It looks like that's all the questions. So thanks everyone for coming. We hope you enjoyed the presentation, and we look forward to seeing you at the next one. Awesome. Thanks.
Bye, everybody.